welcome to the midweek cooking show at home with very dirty glasses. I've just said my glasses, I can't see a thing through them, so you'll have to excuse me if I just cook by touch tonight, because I haven't had a chance to clean my glasses. So welcome to our inaugural filming at my house. Well, it's mine and the cameraman's, because he lives with me. So this is where it all started 22 years ago, in this little kitchen, and with lots of people sitting around my kitchen bench. So it's sort of a bit spookoir tonight, actually cooking at home again, without an audience, but just with a camera, or 2 or 3 or 4 cameras actually. So tonight I thought what we would do is cook these beautiful little Spanish chickpea fritters with some prawns in. And for me, that these are such a lovely, easy, quick thing to do for dinner at night, or for little nibbles over the Christmas period as well, because you know, seafood is quite Australian, isn't it? So it would be nice to do this. And even if you're in a cold climate Christmas, I know lots of people are having you know, like Christmas Eve parties around the fire and things like that in England, and these would actually be quite lovely to pre-cook and then just reheat in the oven as little nibblies for a drinky party if you'd like to. But tonight I'm actually cooking them for our dinner. So I've got my laptop over there actually looking at the Cooks Collective, because that's often how I'll cook at home, is actually look at my recipes on the Cooks Collective on my laptop in the kitchen, or I use Anthony's iPad and read the recipe. Unfortunately, with such dirty glasses, I can't actually see what the amounts are. So hopefully you've got the Cooks Collective open, you're actually looking at the recipes. Some of you may have even printed off the recipes before, and you have them in front of you. So in my large bowl here, I'm just checking that the cameraman hasn't taken down my whisk that I need. He's rearranged the kitchen a touch. So in my large bowl here, I have 300 grams of chickpea flour. So you can buy chickpea flour, often called Bézin flour. So you can buy that all over the place. This is chef's choice, so I think it's even available in the supermarkets as well. And it's got a lovely nutty flavour to it. I have put a little bit of plain flour in here as well, about 50-60 grams of plain flour, just as a little bit of insurance to sort of hold the batter together. But you can actually probably even use something like rice flour in here, not only just the plain flour, and then you've got a gluten-free alternative if you want to. So I'll now put my Bézin flour under here with all my recipe books out of the way. So you've seen that. So chickpea flour, Bézin flour, and plain flour. I'm going to be putting in a teaspoon of baking powder, and I can't lie straight in bed, so I'm just going to tell you that I weighed these up last week when I was retesting these at home and for our dinner, and I thought, oh, I'll weigh up the ingredients beforehand, so I have them here ready to go today. I've forgotten whether I've put baking powder in the flour, so we could have these fritters absolutely huge, but I don't think so. I think I'm all right, but just to warn you a little bit, learn where to put everything here. So into that as well, we're going to be putting about 5 grams of salt. So I'm using the beautiful Murray River salt flakes. I just love oh, it's just dropped it. It's this beautiful little pyramid of salt. So whenever you're using the salt flakes, just give them a little bit of a grind in your grinder, like that. Always got it with you. And to flavour it up, because it's a little bit Spanish, we've got a teaspoon and a half of mild paprika. So this is a very Spanish, of course, ole. I just slipped into that little Spanish moment there. So the old Herbie's mild paprika goes into there as well, and we'll just give that a stir around. I'm going to go and get my flat whisk, because with this chickpea flour, we need to sort of allow it to soak up all the water. I've got no idea which camera's on, so I'm just looking at this one. Such fun, isn't it? So thank you for watching. If you've just joined us, I'm going to be cooking Spanish prawn and chickpea fritters, but I'm just going to double check that I'm doing this exactly right by looking at my Cooks Collective. So it says place both flours, baking powder, salt, pepper and paprika, and whisk in water to form batter. So I haven't put any pepper in. I've got my old, I can't wait to get one of those lovely Ortus here, you know, the ones that we've been using over the past few weeks. But this pepper mill I've had since I was 21, when I got my first house. It's amazing how it's still going. So I do love that one a little bit. It's a little bit precious. But I do like the new Dream Farm Ortu pepper mills. They're really gorgeous. So I want 300 mils of water, and I've only got 250 in there because someone broke my Pyrex jug getting it out of the dishwasher the other day. In fact, it wasn't his fault. Now you know who did it, don't you? Because he's the only bloke in the family. It wasn't his fault. It was actually the dishwasher's fault, apparently. So there we are. So I have to just put in an extra 50 grams of water in there. So just the water that comes from the clouds, the wet stuff, goes in there. I get it from my filter thing on my fridge, because it's nice filtered water, isn't it? So we'll put that over there, and my trusty assistant will wash it up later. All right, so in here also I'm going to be putting some, I've got spring onions on the recipe, but just about 7.5 minutes ago I realised I didn't have any spring onions. So I looked in the fridge, and this is why I love cooking so much. It doesn't really matter, does it? If things go wrong, it doesn't really matter, because you've got something probably. Last time I actually we've got some beautiful little white onions in our, oh no, I found them in the shade house, that's right. I found some beautiful little white onions growing in our shade house out in the garden, and I just used very finely chopped white onion for this. But if anyone's watching, the cameraman's just told me to tell you, if anyone is watching out there and you would like to ask a question about these fritters or anything else really about cooking, then please, if you would like to write your question in the comments on Facebook, or what do they do on the Cooks Collective, Anthony?
Yes, they can chat on the Cooks Collective.
And they can chat on the Cooks Collective apparently, so there we are. So please feel free to ask any questions as we go along, and I will endeavour to answer them. So the reason, I'm just going to pick some parsley. So the reason that we wanted to do this partly was to give everyone a bit of a chance to cook along on a Tuesday night with us. We usually live stream these from Matters of Taste Cooking School at 12:30 during the day. And then the cameraman had this brilliant idea. Why don't we do this from home, he said. And I said, oh, like that. And he said, yes, let's do it. So he just did. And then we can all cook together if you want to. And I just thought it'd be quite fun to cook together. So once a month for the Cooks Collective members, you'll get the recipe a week beforehand. You can go out, buy the ingredients if you'd like to, and we can all cook together at the same time if you'd like to, because we'll do this once a month on a Tuesday at 6 p.m. unless everyone else says no, let's do it at 6:30 or 5:30 or whenever it suits you, and we have enough people wanting it done, then we'll change the time. But we're thinking 6 o'clock is probably quite a good time. I'm going to leave some of this parsley. I'm just trying to dry it a bit, because last time I did deep fried parsley it was a bit wet and it spat and it scared me. So it's a little bit on the wet side. So I might actually just sort of lay that out in the hope that by the time I've finished cooking the fritters, the parsley will be dry enough to deep fry. And I don't know whether you've ever done this before, but deep frying fresh herbs at home is absolutely luscious, especially parsley's really great, and the other thing that's really superb is basil as well, and they deep fry in seconds because obviously they're very delicate. Deep fry in seconds, and it really sort of intensifies the flavour, and they're so lovely and crunchy. It's just delicious. So we're deep frying, but I wanted to show you how to fry at home without a deep fryer. So I've actually got my oil heating in a Solid Technics frying pan here, because I know that it's going to really hold the heat, and I'm going to show you how to use the thermometer as well while we're doing that. And I might even move my laptop slightly out of the way because I'm very sensible. So just before we go over there, the batter's actually thickening up already. You don't want it to be too thick, but you want it to be thick enough, which is really hard, isn't it, when you see that in a recipe book? you know, make the batter just so it's just thick enough. Thick enough for what? So here you can actually see it, which is just fantastic. So I've got about 350 grams of raw prawns here. And this afternoon while I was in the car, I phoned my lovely friend Lucy at Sea Fresh Meyeri, and I asked her about her prawns. And this is why I get so impressed with that girl and with what she's doing there. So I said, Lucy, what prawns do you have at Sea Fresh at the moment? She's so gorgeous. She said, I've got prawns for every taste and every budget. Isn't that lovely? So go and visit Lucy, because so many of the prawns that she's got there in Sea Fresh Meyeri have the blue tick of approval, so it's sustainable fishing. They're all wild Australian caught prawns. Absolutely fantastic. So I really urge you to buy local like that, rather than going and buying prawns that are fished not sustainably. Often in Asia, they catch a lot of bycatch with the prawns as well, which is not doing our oceans any good whatsoever. Because all the little fish that get caught up can't grow into big fish, and we can't fish them as, you know, big fish, and they can't have babies because they're not old enough yet, and all of that sort of stuff. So just be a little bit mindful if you can. I've cleaned all these prawns. There was a little naughty bit of prawn there, and I'll just take that out. So some of them will need cleaning, but most of them that you buy, if they're already shelled, they might be cleaned as well. So nearly done. I just like to just chop them up roughly, so that when we go and make the fritters, like every fritter's got lots of bits of prawns in, rather than, you know, one big prawn and then the rest all batter. So let me move this out of the way, because I do want you to think that I'm really good at cooking and clean and everything. So let me just, here I have my bowl of soapy water ready to go, and I'm just going to turn my board over because I've got fishy on that side, and I don't really want that on the other side because I've got my lemon to cut up shortly and to put on the fritters when they're done. And I haven't got my chops here, which stop my board from moving. All right, so let's take these over to the stove, and I'm just going to mix it around. I don't know whether you can probably see that if I put those there. So it's actually coating the mixture really quite nicely, and you can see I've got a lot of prawns in there, so they're nice and happy and going to be full fritters. So you're not going to just get a mouthful of chickpea flour. So very importantly, a little thermometer for cooking, and it's 27.3 in the kitchen at the moment. But I need to just test this oil to see how hot it is. I've got it on very low, but because these pans are so amazing, these Solid Techniques pans, I can feel just by putting my hand on the top there that this is really quite hot, and we're already probably exceeded 180, I would say. Yes, definitely. So that's really good. I'm just going to try and turn that down just a touch so that we don't get really crazy splattering happening. If you let me put the first batch in. So I've already got a tray with some absorbent paper on it as well, so you've got to be ready for when you're deep frying. I've got a fire extinguisher just outside the door in the garage over here, so that's all good, isn't it? And because I really wanted you to see what the fritters look like, and to show you that you can actually cook things that they say deep fry them, you can actually cook them in something like this. So I'm just going to I'm going to tell you what that's there for as well in a minute, but I'm going to pull this over here so that we've got everything ready to go. So when you're popping your fritters in, just a kitchen spoon like this. They don't have to be round, they don't have to be all the same sort of shape. Same size would be a good idea, because they'll cook about the same at about the same rate. And I found that I'm going to put 4 in here because I have filled this up quite high. 4 fritters in there. And so this is technically deep frying because it's almost covering the whole fritter. You've got to be a bit careful if it's super hot, like this was, I would say, over 200 when I first put these in. But having said that, this is going to cool the fat down really quite a lot because it's quite a lot in the pan. you just got to keep your eye on the temperature, because once these are finished cooking, yeah, see, this is going to be down to, I reckon it will still be 180, but I think it was probably up about 200 when I first, yeah, it's slowing down now, 173. So that's cooking at quite a nice little rate there, and I can tell because the fritters aren't going black underneath. If that happens to you, turn the heat down a bit, or take the pan off the heat. Just be really, really careful. Obviously, hot fat burns. This is probably not as sensible as doing it in a pan like this. But if it was in this pan, you wouldn't really be able to see as much. But this is how I did it in a couple of nights ago when I retested these at home, and I had my oil in this pan and I did it in here, and it worked absolutely superbly. So it just gives a little bit more safety with the pan being deeper. So you don't really want to, like, you know, walk out of the house and just leave your fritters frying by themselves. And also, if you put too much and it's too hot, the fat can actually overflow and then obviously set your whole stove on fire. You don't want that either, do you? So, especially not on Christmas Day, can you imagine? I reckon these would be a good Boxing Day thing. Look at that, delicious. That's nice and crispy. I like all the bits that don't quite make it on the actual fritters, like all these little bits, like that. Absolutely delish. And I scoop them all up at the end and eat them for myself, and don't tell any of my guests or my family that I'm doing it. Cameraman's probably sitting there going, like that, being really upset about that. So, love these frying pans. It's holding the heat really well. You can see that they're bubbling away. They're really quite enjoying themselves here. And we'll cook them for 2 to 3 minutes each side, right? I'm going to do one batch, and then I'm going to pop another batch in. And I'm just going to talk very briefly about my salad and about what you can actually serve these fritters with. And then we'll go crazy and do the deep fried parsley bit in a minute, which is a bit dangerous but so worth it. So that's my pan, that's this. I think we can get about 12 or so fritters from this batch for like an evening meal. So I'm thinking, you know, 3 fritters each with a nice salad, some lemon juice. I'm going to talk a little bit about, as I said, a little bit of aioli as well that you can put on there. But I think it's a really nice meal. I've actually, especially in summer, don't really like having rice, pasta, potatoes like every night of the week. It's really nice to go a little bit sort of steer clear of the basic, what are they called? Gluten, carbohydrates. So I just like to get loads of veggies in there over the summer period. So with these, the only way really that you're going to know that they're cooked is, and basically prawns take like literally minutes or even seconds if you just chuck them on the barbecue. That's why they're so lovely and quick, isn't it? But I can see in there that prawn's definitely cooked. You can see that they've gone nice and pink inside the fritters. So, and I know from experience that probably I've been talking for long enough, and these will be, beg your pardon, cameraman? He said something, it's probably very rude. Lucky I couldn't hear him properly. So there's our lovely fritters. So let's just check the temperature again. See, that's what I'd be doing again, is checking the temperature, and I bet this needs to come up a little bit. Just reheat for 30 seconds, a minute or so. And as I say, if you've got, the better the pan is, the more heat it will actually keep into, yeah, there you go. We're down to 130, down to 130 now, up to 140. So about another 20 seconds and that will be perfectly all right to put our next batch in. So you're doing three batches of 4. I fitted 4 in that pan. I can fit 4 in this pan as well. So you're doing 3 batches. And if you're sort of that type of person who wants their food super, super hot when you serve it up, then just pop your oven on at about 160 and you can keep the fritters warm in your oven at 160. If you do that, don't put it in on a plastic tray like I've got, but pop it in on a metal tray, won't you? Yep, that's a good tip. So,
Haley's
Oh, we've got a question. Got a question.
What pans would you use?
What pans? Hayley, good question. So we're using the Solid Technics pans. I don't know whether the cameraman can get that, but it's our lovely cast iron pans, which are made in Australia from Australian iron, and they are just fantastic. So this coming Saturday on the 21st of December, if you're watching it live, if you're close, if you live in Perth or you're coming up to Perth from the country, I will be at Matters of Taste between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Saturday the 21st of December, and we've got 10% off all of our retail items if you spend over $50. So come and have a little shop if you'd like to in our air-conditioned comfort, and you can collect a gift voucher as well. So of course we do gift vouchers for the Matters of Taste classes, and also for the Cooks Collective. Imagine giving somebody a year's teaching and inspiration on the Cooks Collective. I think it would be wonderful. It's a gift that's going to last the whole year and hopefully into the future. And someone was talking, in fact, we do have Jan, our friend Jan, here as well. Don't we, Jan? Yeah, she's just going like that. And Jan just said it would make a great wedding gift for somebody. $96 a year, and you give them a year's worth of cooking inspiration and teaching. Anyway, just saying. So if you're not all organised for Christmas, if you haven't got all of your presents under the tree yet, then think about a gift voucher from Matters of Taste or from the Cooks Collective. So let's have a look back here, just while I am waiting for those to, I'll just go back over and turn them in a minute. I'm going to cut up I nearly called it an onion. I don't know which camera now. I nearly called it an onion. A lemon, because you know it's not an onion, don't you? Cut up a lemon, and they're, of course, absolutely lovely to squeeze over these fritters. They definitely need something sharp because of those lovely nutty flavours and sweetness of the prawns, but the actual fritters could definitely do with a little bit of squeeze of a lemon. Let's pop that out of the way. So we're nearly there. I'm going to turn these over, finish off dressing my salad. Plate ready. Just a touch. This is a skill, isn't it? I guess it's like turning the oil up if it needs to come up, turning it down if it's going too fast, all of those sorts of things. So this is my cooking school vinaigrette. So this is on the collective as well, on our best dressed salads masterclass. So my cooking school vinaigrette, extra virgin olive oil, sherry vinegar, Dijon mustard, salt and pepper, and I just keep it in my pantry. And it's awesome. So I have it whenever I want to on a salad. So I just went out earlier on and picked a lettuce from our shade house. Very lucky to be married to a man who actually really quite likes gardening, as in not flowers and stuff like that, but like veggie gardening. So he's built this amazing shade house for us, and yeah, the lettuces are going crazy with the heat. So we're going to look like a lettuce by the end of the week, so we're going to have to eat them all. And I've just made some little roasted tomatoes as well. Guess where they were picked? From our shade house. Oh no, it's really good, isn't it? I can hear everyone out there going, oh, I wish I had a shade house. I know. Well, that's what you've got to do. Marry a man who knows how to build a shade house, and you too could have one. Just for the people out there who aren't married. It's amazing how I don't stop talking, isn't it? I've been keeping myself amused for like, how long have we been going, Mr. Cameraman?
24 minutes.
24 minutes. Have I stopped for breath? No. It's just totally full on entertainment from start to finish. We've got a fly in here now as well. All right, so I've roasted some tomatoes. I believe that's up on the Cooks Collective as well. And we've got a roasted, how to roast tomatoes. Fantastic to keep in your fridge at this time of year as well. A little bit of vinaigrette on there. Pop that back in the pantry. Clean up as you go along. That's what you've got to do. And there's my salad done. And let's take these little fritters out over here. And it may be just absolutely perfect, actually, to just deep fry that parsley now. But I'm going to have to jump out of the way. So Hopefully it doesn't spit towards the camera. I'm sure it won't, but it happens really very quickly. So I'm going to move my fritters over and move my serving platter over. And why are you laughing at me? He's now, I don't know, I'm getting a complex now. He's laughing at me. Right, here's the draw. Maybe he's trying to keep up with me moving. Are you? He's got the giggles because he's trying to keep up with me. So, in goes the parsley. Are you ready, everyone? There you go. That's what I mean. So it really is the moisture as well and the parsley. You've got to be a little bit careful of that, but it's done. So, and you can see how beautiful, look at how beautiful that colour is of that parsley from, yes, you guessed it, our shade house. This is what cooking at home is all about to me. I love this. I love this. All right, turn it off, Tracy. Oh, my knob's fallen off. Whoopsie. You can tell my oven's a little bit old. And, well, you can't tell that, but it is. And I've just got some of this stuff that I like to put on if I'm serving. This is a little tip that I learnt from Adam Liao on his Instagram posts. He always has a scrunched up bit of paper like that. See how fantastic does that look already? Buzz off. Buzz off. He likes the smell. And I have some homemade 1-minute mayonnaise in here that I made from a recipe on the Cooks Collective. And we're just going to pop these fritters around here like this. It was easy, wasn't it? You too can enjoy this. I think the Oh, what? The cameraman is taking a fritter. He's so naughty because they haven't got salt on yet, so they're not going to be as nice. Anyway, there we are. Or, can you, like, I don't know whether you can hear that, but it's really crunchy. Crunchy, crunchy. This has ruined my beautiful display, but anyway, don't worry about that. It is Christmas. I think I can forgive him, don't you? So, you can serve with aioli. We've got the lemon. Let's pop all the lemon there. Be nice. Lemon wedges round like this. That is the money shot, is it? Or are you saying you can't see it? Closer to me. So we've set this up superbly. Let's just get this out of the way. Got my dirty bench top now. And we'll set this up because to me that is a very, very delicious dinner with lovely fresh gardeny salad and chickpea fritters. For Boxing Day or for Christmas Eve, it would be really nice. Can you see that all right, Mr. Cameraman? Yeah. Does that look okay? And you've got these gorgeous, and he's eating, so he's got his mouth full. Are they nice?
Very nice.
Very nice. Only very nice.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Sensational, I think he said, meant to say. So, thank you so much for watching. We are going to take a short break over the Christmas period, but I'll see if I can get the cameraman to get his equipment out over the Christmas period and perhaps film a little bit more to put up on the Cooks Collective. But there is loads of information up there to be going on with. There's a fabulous Christmas masterclass as well to get ready for Christmas with loads of really great little recipes on there that will have you super organised on Christmas Day. So we will see you in 2020. We hope from all the team here at Matters of Taste and the Cooks Collective have a very Merry Christmas. Hope all your cooking is superb and that you enjoy sitting around a table with loved ones over the summer break and enjoying their company and enjoying some good food. So we look forward to seeing you very much in 2020 when we've got lots of good things coming to the Cooks Collective. Thank you so much for being part of our community this year. It's been great. Oh, he's telling me to eat it. Eat it. Okay, I'll eat it. I will eat it. I like a bit of lemon on mine. Oh, yeah.